Hello, critics, non-critics, and friends. Welcome to the Film Optix podcast, where we take a glance into blockbusters, indie films, and everything in between. I'm your host, Christian, and as always, I'm joined by my good friend / my co-host. And today, we're here to give our spoiler-free thoughts about House of the Dragon, aka Hot D, Episode 5. Again, we're not going to be giving any spoilers away, just wanted to let you guys know on the forefront here. So no spoilers from us, just going to be giving our initial reactions of this coming up week's episode. And of course, I'd like to thank HBO Max and Warner Brothers Discovery for sending us these screeners early so we can get our thoughts and opinions out there for you guys to listen to. Of course, again, no spoilers here for episode 5, but there will be spoilers from episode 1 through 4. So, we've kind of been carrying it on how we've been doing it with these coverages of these episodes. So just to let you guys know, we will be talking about the events that happened within the past 4 episodes, but not for episode 5. And before we begin today's episode, you can listen to our podcast on podcast platforms around the internet. That includes Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. And if you are a new or seasoned listener to the show, we would love to hear from you guys. Follow us on Instagram and follow us on Twitter at FilmOptix. That is Optix with an X. Or you can email us at filmoptix@gmail.com for any movie-related questions. Devin, happy Thursday. How's your week been, buddy? You've been good? You've been hanging in there, watching some Hot D, some She-Hulk?
Yeah, it's been a pretty good week. I'm glad it's almost over. I did wake up this morning with a large crick in my neck. I don't understand why or how that happens. Very rarely, but when it does, oof, it's rough.
Devin, I think you're getting old.
It just affects everything, You're viewing, you're walking, it's crazy.
I totally know what you mean, man. It's crazy. I actually woke up today and apologize for my voice. Woke up with a really weird frog in my throat or something. Yesterday I was clean as a whistle. I guess it's this, that time of year, the leaves are changing and, fall is coming around the corner. It's still summer. I don't know why people are still saying it's spooky season, but it's still summer until the 22nd. So we got a few more days left, but seems like the fall weather is coming a little bit earlier this year. So I do apologize. It may sound like I'm sick. I'm really not. It's just allergies. This really sucks. So yeah, as we mentioned before, we're just going to be getting straight into our episode 5 review of House of the Dragon, aka Hot D. Devin, are you ready to take this journey with me?
Onward
and upward. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after this introduction to House of the Dragon, episode 5.
The road ahead is uncertain, but the end is clear. We are better defended.
Against whom?
Whomever may dare to challenge us. The threat of war looms.
The gods have yet to make a man who lacks the patience for absolute power, Your Grace.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back with our spoiler-free review of House of the Dragon, episode 5. Again, we're not going to give any details away. We're not even going to give you the name of the episode. I believe all of the names of the episodes are out there for people who want to look up that information, especially if you've read the books. You kind of already know what's coming. But as we saw from last week's episode on episode 4, Rhaenyra and Sir Laenor are getting married. And if you watched the preview for episode 5, it shows a little bit of clips of their wedding, and just a lot of craziness goes down, but we're not going to get into those details here. So I'm actually going to pass it over to Devin just so he can give his initial reactions for House of the Dragon, and then I'll give mine, and then we're kind of just going to give our final thoughts and then skedaddle on out of here. So Devin, what did you think of this episode?
So as a new viewer of the Game of Thrones franchise, a new person just joining the Westeros world, I've started to categorize some of the episode types that I'm noticing so far out of the 5 total episodes I've seen. So they're all Ds, of course, hot D. They all got to be Ds. So obviously the first 3 episodes, a lot of hot D, which was dragons and doing battle. That was a good start there. And then last week's episode 4, was hot D, but a very different D that time. We won't divulge exactly which one that is, but I'm sure you already know. And I'd say this one's a bit colder of a D. This one was I'd say dancing. This one was cold D dancing. Like, it just didn't really hit as hard as the other episodes for me. Definitely the coldest of Ds, but there's a lot developing here as far as these families connecting and joining and people not liking that. And there's something that happens at the end. It's a bit messy. Don't really see what happens completely, but it's interesting. And I think this is the last episode we have of Millie Alcock and her Emily Carey. So cheers to them. They did a great job these first 5 episodes, and we're moving on to the older women. I wonder how much time it'll be. Probably 10 years, 5 years.
So I'm guessing no more, maybe no more than 10. I'm not entirely sure, but you are right. I believe that this is the final episode that we will see our young versions of Alicent Hightower and Rhaenyra Targaryen. I think that both of these actors, respectively, have done a great job with portraying these roles. And there's also a little talk about them maybe doing a few more flashbacks in season 2. That is the scoop that's been happening around the internet. So we'll just have to wait and see there.
What did you think of my D categories? Seem pretty accurate for this world. We got dragons, doing battle, dancing as of this week, and another type of D last week.
House of the Dancing. I think that sums up this episode quite nicely. I actually do like her analogy. This for episode 5, for my initial reactions, this episode definitely is, it is a very, very slow burn, but there's a lot of important information within this episode. It may feel like, it does take a while for this episode to start, running on its 4 legs, but it's all about the, it's the aftermath of what happened right before, with episode 4. We're seeing, Rhaenyra and Sir Christian Cole, getting their little groove on and whatnot. And we're starting to see the aftermath of that. I believe this is one of the shorter time frames between the 2 episodes, between episode 4 and episode 5. I believe it's probably no more than maybe a few months, or honestly, maybe even a few weeks, to be completely honest, because the episode 4 and 5, it really feels like a 2-parter, because we are seeing, Rhaenyra getting married, and we all know how Game of Thrones weddings, tend to sometimes not work out in the best. Sometimes they are in everyone's best interest. But what I really liked about this episode is that we got to see a little bit more of the terms and conditions when it comes to these weddings, these alliances, because, even with the original Game of Thrones, we always see, so-and-so has to marry X, Y, and Z for, political power and political struggle, and not political struggle, but for political gain, and to kind of build up those alliances. And we see a little bit more in depth, especially for the case of this specific marriage that is happening. There are a lot of things that need to be clarified before they can move on with the ceremony, which is something I thought was pretty interesting. So that was my number 1 takeaway. As always, the cast just does a great job. But like I said, this is more of a slower burn episode. But it is very necessary. This is not a filler episode. There are a lot of moving pieces, being made on the chessboard. altogether. And I think, with the information that, that has been spreading around, these rumors about Rhaenyra, sometimes, it may be harder to keep under wraps than what we may have thought in prior situations. Obviously, this is a fantasy middle-age Westeros, but somehow word still travels fast around the kingdom. So you start to see the aftermath of what's happening in episode 5. Of course, I cannot give any details away, but that's as much as I can give you without saying anything. But overall, I thought it was still a very solid episode. Not a very exciting episode, maybe up until, I would say, the third act was more exciting or more of people's speed because, everyone wants something to happen. But for this episode, it is more of just a, hey, we've had these like super crazy fire episodes. It's time to, we're here to enjoy a wedding. We're here to enjoy some House of the Dancing. But this episode really is a dance when you really think about it. But those are just a few of my initial thoughts before I go on a tangent, as I often do. So before we get into final thoughts, Devin, was there anything else you wanted to mention before we get into our final thoughts here?
I also should mention there's another category for Hot D, which is Hot Damon, because he's always doing something. He's always hot himself, just angry and maybe not always finishing, but he definitely starts things.
Yes, definitely. I mean, but it's weird because you are right. Damon is not the kind of person to necessarily start something, but yeah, he will finish something. Maybe whether it be intentional or not, or if it was indirect if it was direct or indirect by him, he's always just there. Like no matter where he goes, it's like bad like luck and just bad things. Well, not bad things, but chaotic things always arise around him without him even having to try, which is super crazy. You see a little bit of that in this episode, but he can taunt a little bit as well. So that is something else that another side of Damon that you see, but he continues to, outside of Rhaenyra, he probably is, I think he is my favorite Targaryen of this series. But even Rhaena, she makes an appearance in this episode as well, of course. It's always nice to see her back. Same thing with Lord Corlys and the rest of his family. Of course, this is a wedding of the two houses from episode 5. Rhaenyra is marrying Sir Laenor, so we finally get the cousin matchup. We finally get to see some actual inbreeding going on here in a way. So as if we didn't see enough last week. But let's get into our final thoughts here. Devin, what are your final thoughts about this episode before we close out here?
I said before, cheers to Emily, or Millie, I should say. Millie and Emily, yeah. But cheers to them. I'm sure we'll be seeing them in future projects. I'm glad they got a good start here. I'm happy to see where we're going, and hopefully more Hot D.
House of the Dancing, let's go. But yeah, as for my final thoughts really quick, I just thought it definitely is a very slow burn episode. It is not bad. That doesn't mean that it's bad at all. It's just one of those episodes where, things are cooling off, but other events are starting to form, if that makes any sense, but at least to me it does. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a fine episode, a very necessary episode to watch, but it is a slow burn. Just want to let you guys know, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it isn't exciting, because some people like those kind of slow build-ups. I do too, and the original Game of Thrones series has a lot of those episodes as well that still serve to the story. So it does definitely push the story forward. And yeah, we hope you guys enjoy watching it this coming up weekend. Sunday. It's crazy, man. We got football on Sunday, House of the Dragon on Sunday. For some reason, the Emmys weren't on a Sunday, but hey, it is what it is. But I can definitely see House of the Dragon cleaning up house next year during the Emmys. I was very surprised that Succession won for drama for this year for the Emmys. Very, very surprised.
Yeah, I keep meaning to watch it one day.
I mean, I watched a little bit here and there, but overall I thought it was okay. I mean, there was some pretty cool surprises, but nothing for Stranger Things outside of maybe like some smaller awards that they announced beforehand. Nothing for Better Call Saul, which I was very shocked. But yeah, I was very shocked that Succession won. My money was actually on Severance. It really was. But that concludes our episode here of House of the Dragon episode 5, our spoiler-free review. Really quick, if you liked what we've heard on today's episode, please subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast platform of choice, and make sure to share an episode of our podcast with a friend, whether it be your mother, your brother, your lover, whoever it may be. Make sure to share an episode of the Film Optix podcast with a movie lover in need. And really quick, what is on deck and what is out right now? So what do we have on deck, Devin? We have Pearl. Our review of Pearl will be dropping sometime early next week as we close out the month of September. And we also have our Rogue One, a Star Wars story series revisited, movie revisited or film revisited, franchise revisited, whatever you want to call it. We're going to be doing a quick review of Rogue One to get ourselves ready for Andor, which also drops next week. It's going to be kind of a crazy week for us, but also keep a lookout for our Avatar: The Last Airbender Book 3 Fire review that will be dropping by summer's end. So by September 22nd, 2022, definitely keep a lookout for that. We have some fun guests coming on for that one. And what is out right now to get you guys ready for spooky season, check out our review of Barbarian that we just dropped a few days ago, and Orphan First Kill to get you guys in the spooky season mood. And you can also check out our She-Hulk episode 1 through 4, soon to be 5. As soon as we're actually done recording this. So gotta love those double recording days. And of course, you can check out our House of the Dragon episode 1 through 4 review that we have out on the podcast, on audio podcasts across the internet. Again, thank you very much to HBO Max and Warner Brother Discovery for allowing us to view these episodes early for you guys so we can get the information out there for all of you wonderful, wonderful fans. So with all that said, we hope you have a great day, and we'll see you guys next time. And that's a wrap for today. Thank you all for listening. And if you enjoy the show, leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And follow us on Twitter and Instagram to stay in the know. That was Devin. My name is Christian. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.